Welcome back. This is the lesson number 6. In this lesson, we will talk about loops in Python. Python has two types of loop, like what I type here. The first type of loop is while loop, and the second type is for loop. Let's talk first about the while loop. Here in while repeat the operation as long as condition is true. Let's see the form of while type like this. The form of while is while, then condition, then the 2 point above each other like this. Then you type here the code. This code will execute as long as the condition is true. Let's do here a multi-line command and see an example for while. I'm sorry, it just print the previous code. Here is the example. We have a variable equal 1. While this variable, which is I, while I is less than 6, print I, and I increase I by 1. So here I equal 1. So when the program see while, it means that this loop will be repeat while this code or this condition is true. Here I is less than I equal 1 and 1 is less than 6. So it will print I, which is 1. And here it will increase I by 1. So I here become 2. And repeat the operation, I equal 2 and 2 less than 6. So it will print 2 and increase 2 to 3. And test again, I is 3 less than 6. So it will print 3 and increases 3 to 4. And the same operation until it reaches to 6. Here become 5 and increase 5 to 6. And when it reaches to 6, it will test if 6 is less than 6, and this is false because they are equal. So the code is false. So while will not execute. So while will not execute when condition is false, like 6 less than 6. So while will stop and the program will transfer to the next operation or the next code. While loops require a variable to be ready. In this example, we need to define an indexing variable like we have done. Here, I is equal 1. There is a word used with while called break. How this word work? We have a while loop. Let's while Let's see first the job of a break. A break can stop the loop under a specific condition. So a break, why we use break? A break used to stop the loop. Stop or end the loop. Or end the loop under specific condition. For example, we have this example. We have I equal 1. While I is less than 6, print I. So I equal 1, so the code will print 1. And here is the condition of break. The condition, we put a break inside. So a break put in always inside a condition. If the condition is achieved, it will break. And the while loop will not continue, will not complete executed. So, for example, we have I equal 1. And I is less than 6, so it will inside while. And print I which equal 1. And here is an condition will test. If I equal 3, no, I is not equal to 3, so it will not execute a break. And here, increase I by 1, so I equal 2. And test 2 is less than 6. Print 2 is 2 equal 3, no. So it will not execute this. It will execute I because I is outside if. It will execute I plus equal 1, which means increases I by 1 to become I equals 3. And test 3 is less than 6. So print 3. If 3, which I equals 3 equals 3, yes, I now is 3, and 3 equals 3, so it will execute a break and end the loop. But here, the loop not complete. It should be complete, and I equal 4 according to this condition. No, when break is inside while, as long as the condition, or if the condition of break is achieved, a break will end the loop now and not wait to complete the loop. There is also another word used with loop. This word is called continue. And this continue used to skip a specific step in while according to condition. It's like a break, but break in the loop and while skip one loop of the loop condition. For example, we have here this code. It's with this. We hear this code. Let's tell I equals 0. Here I equals 0. And increase I to become 1. And test I equal 1 and y and 1 not equals 3. So it will not execute this and print 1. And increase 1 to become 2. And test 2 is equals 3. No. So it will not execute the condition of if. And transfer to the next and increase to 3. Is 3 equals 3? Yes. So it will continue. Continue mean not complete the code under if in this loop, which mean in when I equals 3 only it will not complete the code under if, but it will complete the loop. So continue skip the loop when I equals 3, which means skip the same loop in which the condition is achieved. So it only skip one loop from the while loop. Here, while loop not execute or become false when I is equal 6. So if we execute, here you will notice that all the number here is printed except 3. Why? Because continue till the editor to skip 3. There is also another word used with while. This word called is else. And else, when it used with while, the code inside else is execute when while loop is ended. So when all loops of while end and the code become false, the code of else executed. So the code of else is executed when while loops end. For example, we have this I equal 1, and here while loop will test in the first iteration that I is less than 6. So print I, which is 1, and increase I to become 2. Here while ended, no, it will complete, it will continue, or it will do the same operation because I is less than 6. So it will test 2 is less than 6. So print I 2 and increase 2 to become 3. 3 is less than 6, so print 3 and increase 3 to 4, and 4 is less than 6, so print 4 and increase 4 to 5, and also 5 increase to 6. So 6 is less than 6, no. So while loop is ended here when 6 is less than 6, so this code will not execute when 6 is less than 6, when I is equal 6. So else it will transfer to else and print this. So this while loop will print from 1 to 5 because the 6th iteration not executed, and print this statement after 5. Here you can see it print from 1 to 5 and also print else. So else execute when the loop iterations could end. By this, we reach to the end of the while lesson. Let's continue to the other type of loops, which is for. Let's make separated here to separate between while and for. And here we will talk about for loop. And for loop is used to iterate over a sequence like list or tuple or set. So it is used to iterate over a sequence. And we here are concerned only with looping through a text and list. This is what we will need in scripting the ransomware. Let's see an example of 4. Let's suppose we have a list for fruits. This list has an apple and banana and a cherry. If we wanted to print all this item, each item in a separated line, or if we wanted to reach to this item to make or manipulating in this item, changing a letter, doing a text plus this text is doing anything for these items, we use for to reach for each of this item. For type like this, for iterator variable, and the list, here is the list. Print x. By this, you will see that, okay, let's cancel this and see the result. You will see apple, banana, cherry, each item in a separated line. If we want to change these items, for example, adding a character at the end of this item, so for is very useful. For example, instead of typing each item like this and the index of the item, we type the whole item plus a letter A. We wanted to add a letter A at the end of each item. So we type the old item, which is apple, plus A, so A will add it and store the value in the same letter. Also, let's do this with the remain of item. Here we will put an index 1 to reach to the end to the 1. And here we do index 2 and 2. Let's print the list fruits to see the result. You will notice that each item is added a letter A at the end of it. If we have a list that have hundreds of items, it will be very, very difficult to change all this item one by one like this. If we have 100, maybe have 1,000 of items inside this list, this is will be impossible to change or change this item or get all this item and making operation through it. So here for will be useful for big lists like this. For x in the list fruit, we will do that fruit or x. Let's do first the fruit of, let's do here an I and letter and make an item for the index that we will put here to loop through all the index like we will do. We will put here I equal x, because x have the value of each item inside this list. So we will do like this, plus letter A. And you will notice that in the first time, I is 0 and x will be apple. Here, the first item, which is the first index, which is this, will have the value of x, which is apple, plus a. So the first item will have an apple a. But what about the remainder of item? So we make an iterator here, which will be the difference, which will be increased in each operation to reach for all items. Let's cancel this. Sorry. Here. And see the result. I'm sorry, we forget to print the list. You will notice that each item is increased by a letter, and this is the job of for. For used to increase to loop through all the items of list and do operation on this item. Also, you can use for to loop through a string. Here we loop through a list. Let's do the same thing, but we wanted to loop through a string, not a list. Let's do a string. For example, we have this string, banana, and we want to reach for each letter of this string and print this letter. Let's see. Here you will notice that each letter is printed in separated line, and you can also do an operation on this letter by adding a letter for this letter, adding 3 hash like this. You will notice that each letter is increased by 3 hash, and you can also what I want to do, yes, you can add this hash by this way, hash and multiply the number of repeated value for the letter you want to write. For example, I want a 5 hash. You will type it by this way instead of repeating the hash. You will notice that it do the same job. For is like while, because those are loops. So you can use the word break with for. And we know before that a break used to stop the loop before it ends. For example, we have the previous list which for the food. Let's see, we have the previous list for fruit, this list. We will here change the value and make it list 1. Let's also do this as a multi-line comment. For x in a fruit 1, a print x. And here we learned before that break used to stop the loop under a specific condition. So here we'll make a condition, which is x sound equal banana. If x is equal banana, a break from the list. Let's see. you will here notice that apple and banana is printed and the loop is ended, not print cherry. Why? Because the loop is ended here because the condition is achieved. Let's see the code letter by letter. First, we have a list fruit 1, which have a 3 element, and we have 4, which loop through this list and print the value of x, which is each item in this list. If x is equal banana and x is equal banana, break from the list. Here we printed the first item. X is the first item, which is apple, and printed apple. And also test the condition apple not equal banana, so it will complete the other loops, and x become banana and print banana and test if banana equal banana. Yes, break end the loop and not complete the printing of remain item. Okay. Let's see this example also. And make this as a multi-line comment and make this fruit 2 and see the result. Here you will notice that apple only was printed. Why? Because the condition is put before print. So when x is equal banana, it will end the loop and not complete the code after a break. So banana will not print it. Here we also have a word used with for, which we have learned before, continue. And we learned that continue used to stop the current iteration, not the whole iteration. It stop only the current operation or the current loop or the current iteration. We looping through it. Let's stop this by multi-line comment and see an example for continue. We have a list which is fruit 3. For x in fruit 3, if x is equal banana, continue. Continue here will stop executing the code when the condition is true. For example, x in the first iteration become apple. Is apple equal banana? No. Complete the code and print apple. And in the second iteration, x is equal banana. Is banana equal banana? Yes, continue. Continue means skip completing the code when x equal banana, but not stop the whole loop. So it means to go to the next loop and not complete the code. So x here equal banana, go to the next x, which is the cherry, and test cherry is equal banana. No, complete the code. So continue, skip one iteration from the loop. You also have two functions used with loops. The first function is range. And range used to loop through a set of code a specific number of time. We can use the range function. So range function is used to loop through the code, but not through the list. It loops through the code a specific number of time. For example, if we wanted to do 100 operation, we have a list. This list have 200 item, and we want only to print the first 100 item, and we don't know the value of the index 100. So we will not count until we reach this value, because it's impossible. If the list have thousands of values, it's impossible to count this list to get a value. So what we do, we used range function. Range function is used to repeat the operation a specific number of times. For example, like this. For x in range 6 mean that x from 0 to 6. Print x, so you will see that it will print 0 until before the maximum value, which is 6. So it will print 6 item from 0 to 5. Okay. You can also not start from 0. You can start from a minimum value. How? Let's comment this and do another example. For x in range, and if you wanted to start from minimum value, not from 0, you type this value like this. Print x. Let's see. It starts from 2 until before the maximum value. You can also use else with for loop. And we know that else executed after the loop end. Let's type the definition. Here it executes after the loop finish all the iteration. And this is the example of else. Here we have the loop that print from 0 to 6. And when the loop print from 0 to 5, which is the before value of the maximum, execute the else and print the message. There is also something used with loop, which called nested loop. And nested loop mean you have a 4 inside another. You have 4 inside another 4. The inner loop will the inner loop, which is the inside 4, will execute one time for each iteration of the outer loop. For example, you have I'm sorry, let's copy the example and see, and make this multi-line comment and make this multi-line comment and see our example. We have two lists. List 1 is adjective and list 2 is fruits. Let's type it, list fruit number 5. we have two lists. And for each item of the first list, all the items of the second list will print it. For example, we have this 4, and in the first value, x is red. Execute the inside code. For y in fruits, and y in fruits, take each value of the fruits list. Print x and y. In the first, x become red. So print here, x is red. And in the first fruit, x is apple. So print in the first, red and apple. In the second iteration of the insider loop, x was red and y become banana. So print red and banana. And in the third iteration, because the insider operation not finished yet, y is a cherry and x is red, so print red and cherry. Here the insider loop ended. So go to the next loop of the outer loop, and x become big. And for each big, it will print all the item of the insider loop, and also go to testy, and for each value, print the insider loop. So the insider loop repeated all the items of the insider loop will executed, while one item of the outsider loop will execute it. Let's see. Here will notice that testy take the 3 value, and big take also the 3 value, and red take the 3 value. So for each operation or each iteration of the outsider, for all the items of the insider loop will print it. Okay. In this thing.